Cheers! Welcome to an episode of Unfiltered Reflections Podcast, where there are no scripts, no filters, just good vibes and real talk. So I've decided to do things a bit different for this episode. I have opened this up for a Q&A, questions and answers, and just giving everyone an opportunity to ask some questions and hear a female perspective on whatever situation you may be going through or whatever kind of question you may have. So again, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us at unfiltered.reflections_. With that being said, let's get started. Okay, so the first question that I see is, why do guys like to take off socks during sex? So, I'm not a guy, so I don't think I can really answer this one. I would say that maybe a guy likes to take off a woman's sock during sex because that's probably a footage fetish. He wants to see if your toes are done, if your feet is clean. I'm a girl that likes to make sure that my nails are good, my feet are good, my hygiene is good, and I look good. Because if I look good, I feel good. So I guess a man that wants to kind of like take off your socks to see your toes wants to make sure that you're A1 down there too. There are some guys that like the white toes. There are some guys that like the French tips. And it's just about preference, you know? When I ask a guy why French tips, they say that French tips is usually clean, sophisticated, and they like their women like that. So it's all about preference, baby. All about preference. Someone asked, if you're with a man and a guy looks at you during passing, would you look back? No, I would not look back. Why? Because I have to respect who I'm walking with. If I'm walking with my man, what would it look like looking back to this guy? I'm just disrespecting my man completely. Because then I can't get mad if I look back and my man decides to leave me right there on the spot. You know what I'm saying? So, respect who you're with, right? I feel like this reminds me back when I went out one time, right? And this guy wasn't my man, my guy friend, but I knew that he had feelings for me. So again, there's certain things that you just can't do when you're around a person that you know has feelings for you. You have to kind of like respect their feelings. So it just so happened that the guy that I liked walked into the club. Oh, I'm gonna regret this. And what I did was, I was lit. I'm not gonna lie, our sis was lit. And I knew and I felt it that I was going to sin. And because I didn't want to do nothing crazy in front of the guy that I was with, I said, you know what? Let's pay for the tab and let's get out of here. And we ended up leaving. Did I call the guy after we left and I ended up seeing the guy at his house afterwards? Yes, I did. I'm not going to sit here and lie that I did it. But it's all about choosing and knowing when to do these things and when not to. Okay? Respect the person that you're with. Respect the feelings. That's all I'm saying. Now, I will say this. If I'm in a relationship and I'm with my guy and some chick is looking at my guy and look at my guy. I like that. Look at him. I want to feel that for whatever reason you like the person that I'm with, that you find him attractive too. Because I know at the end of the day, he's not going to go home with you. He's going to go back home with me. And guess what? Thank you. Because you just made me feel that you desire him as much as I do. And when I get home, I'm going to give this man the best is life. That's all I got to say. I don't know. I'm just like that. I'm just like that. What do you think of a man that likes his nipples sucked? Wait a minute. I think that is okay. I just think that a lot of people like different things. You're gonna meet someone that's gonna like something that is out of your comfort zone, right? And I feel like when you're intimate with a person, you have to please them as much as they have to please you. It has to be an equal thing, you know? So if he likes his nipples sucked, Suck them. Suck them. What's so wrong with sucking a nipple here and there? Don't try to figure out why. It's none of your business. They like what they like. You like what you like. That's it. I feel like when it comes to sex, you need to understand each other. You need to get in a space where you're getting the same pleasure that he's getting. Because that's to me making the nut count. That's to me making the nut count. Making sure that you both come, making sure that you both enjoy the experience. But for that, it takes a lot of physical communication and verbal communication too. That's just my opinion. You might like your toes sucked while you're getting or he might like to do that to you. That's just what they like, and it is what it is. As a man, I like to please, but I also like to be pleased. What are your thoughts about that? Why wouldn't she want to suck me unless I ask her to? Okay, I like that one. So I think this could be, there's a lot of answers, possible answers to this, right? I feel like one, my suggestion is have a conversation with this chick. Communicate, right? Because communication is key. It's important. If after communicating this and kind of figure out a way that, what's going on, right? And it's still not happening, you still don't feel like you're getting pleased, leave that situation. If you're intimate with a person and this is your person that you're being intimate with, you guys should be able to please each other. Because maybe what makes you come doesn't make her come, right? And I feel like this is why communication is important. So if you're kind of expressing this to her and she's not reciprocating, then that's not your person. Find somebody else. There's a lot of fish in the sea, and this sea is pretty big, okay? I feel like also maybe reasons as to why women may not feel like or want to please you like that is because either, sometimes hygiene isn't on point. And if hygiene is not on point, I know for a fact I'm not going to want to suck your Nah. If you're always messing up my pH balance, I'm not going to want to either. It's just not going to happen. There's a lot of different things. If you're not turning me on sexually, then I'm not going to want to feel like I want to go down there and suck your. It's not going to happen. You got to figure out, why or what is causing that. What is causing that person to not feel like, oh, I just want to go down there and please my man, or I don't want to wait for him to ask me. I want to just go down there and please him. There has to be a reason, and if that person really cares or you really care, then that's something that could be communicated and kind of figured out amongst each other. Someone asked why women get dolled up to go outside, but I always see her as precious in the house. So I'm going to say this. My opinion is, I feel like in a relationship, it gets to the point where we're both comfortable. Comfortable, and we're like, why do I gotta get dolled up? Like, I'm in the house. We're not doing anything. It is what it is, But I also feel like this is something that needs to be kind of changed in a bit, because this is why date nights is important. The relationship needs to stay spiced up. Because after a while, the relationship might get boring. If you're with a person for 11, 12, 14 years, it might be boring. It's going to be boring if you don't keep it spiced up. And what I mean by spiced up, date nights are important. Buy yourself a little lingerie. Model for this man. Get a pole in that room. I don't know, whatever it is to spice it up. Watch porn together. Ain't nothing wrong with watching porn with your man. Ain't nothing wrong. I will say that I like to get dressed to go out. That's just me. Because when I get dressed, I put my makeup on, I do my hair, I feel good, I look good. And I like to go out and be seen. Like, I'm not saying that I want attention like that, but when a guy notices, or even a girl too, like the compliments, like it feels good. Like, thank you, like I put in work to look this good. And it's nice to get a compliment. Sometimes you don't even get a compliment, you just get a look. Because men like to look. And I like that. Yeah, devour me with your eyes. Make me feel naked with your eyes. Because my eyes talk just the same way back, you know? I'm not saying that if I'm in a relationship, I'm going to engage. If you're in a relationship for a long time, you want to feel like you still got it. You still got it. That's what it's about. You still got it. Now, for men, might be a little bit different. And unfortunately, we don't have a man here to get that perspective. But as a female, in my opinion, that's what I would be thinking. Someone asked, one thing you dislike during sex. When a guy does not care about me coming, it just turns me off. I'm different. I feel like you have to take your time with me, right? You have to arouse me. It's not just the penetration. It's not just no. You have to study me. Make sure that I come. And if it's not with you, make sure that I come first. Make sure that I'm good. And then make sure you're good. When a guy shows me that he's not interested in me coming, if I'm good, if I feel good, then I gotta just, like, you're dumb. You're dumb. Because what was that all for? Again, I always say this. A nut is a nut, but a nut has to count. A nut has to count. You gotta make it count. Because then what was the point? You just wasted my time. I feel like men need to understand this. If you want a girl to keep coming around, give her good sex so she can come back to you every single time. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I like this one. Someone asked, what are my perspective on women putting a price on what they think is valuable? And in this case, they're referring to their person, to a woman's person. So let's talk about it. I know a lot of people are going to disagree or be in their feelings about this, but I honestly don't give a. Let's look at this as a mathematical problem, right? You meet a woman, you like the woman, and let's say she's asking you for $300. Okay. Now, why belittle that woman or talk shit about that woman when you can just choose whether or not to give her the $300? Now, let's think about it. You meet a woman, you like this woman, and then you want to take her out on a date. First impressions are everything. And I know for a fact, because nowadays dates are considered out to drink and probably eating. You're going to be there sitting there with a tab of $300 and something, the same amount that she just asked you for, right? So think about it. You take her on this date, first impression is everything, and now you're sitting there with that kind of tab. Now you know for a fact, 9 out of 10 times, that woman is not going to leave with you and you that same night. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So you're sitting there with a $300 tab with a 9 to 10 chance that this is not happening. So if, as a woman, if you're demanding this kind of money, she has to provide something. It's just not demanding and not giving. You have to, if you're receiving, you have to give. Matter of fact, let me tell you this. If a woman asks you straight up for money, I will have that conversation. I'm that girl. I'm that girl that I would, and if I were a guy, I would probably do the same thing. I would straight up ask, okay, so you asking me for $300. What is that? What is that including? My getting sucked? What is it being included? I would straight up forward ask this or say this. Because what you're not going to do is demand and not give. We're not doing that. Someone asked, what would you say vagina smells like? I don't know. This is interesting. Because I feel like all vaginas are different, are very unique. They're all unique. There is no vagina that smells the same. All vagina has their own distinct smell. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. My scent might be different from someone else's scent. That's just what it is. It all depends on what you're eating, you're eating, how actively you are with your hygiene. Are you working out? It's a lot of factors that come into it. And I feel like every scent is different. You're never going to, this is how vagina smells like. Because I highly doubt it. That's just my opinion. Okay. Someone asked, In one of your podcasts, you suggested games to speak to your partner or person you are getting to know better. What are those games? Okay, so I like to, when I'm meeting a person, I like to bring some card games, right? And I actually purchased these. I don't remember where I purchased them from, but honestly speaking, you can find them anywhere. I think you can also try Amazon. But I like these because let's say we go somewhere or we're having we're eating or we're at home. I pull these out. I like to see where your head is at. What are your thoughts and your opinions on certain things? And I think this is the perfect kind of game for it. Because it's interactive and it gets you going and it's like ask you questions that would just make you kind of like think. For example, right? Let's read one or two. Your significant other is angry and upset about something that happened at work. How do you calm him or her down? Or have you ever dated multiple people at the same time? Do you think it's okay for people to do so? Why or why not? Card game, I like it a lot. It's interesting. Interesting. Someone asked, what are my thoughts about threesomes? You know what? I think I'm gonna take a shot to this one. Where's the seltzer? So, without getting into too much details about this one, I honestly think it's all about how, knowing what extent would you be comfortable with going, what would you like to do, what you can do, and then just kind of communicating these things is important. It's important to communicate these things. Some people are okay with that, and that's fine too. Everyone has their own preferences. Everyone likes what they like, and that's okay. But I've seen how insecure some of these things can make people feel, and I just, me personally, I don't like sharing what I like. So if I like you or I like in you, don't ever ask me to have a threesome. Okay? Someone asked, what do you think of a man in a relationship cheating with another girl? Would you cheat or participate of that? I don't cheat. I don't cheat. I would rather tell you this is not working out and then I'll do what I want to do after we're all breaking up. I don't like to participate in any of these things because I feel like karma's a bitch. And trust and believe, she gets people back. She waits for the right time and she comes when you least expect it and boom. And I don't want to be on karma's bad side. And I don't want you to put me in that predicament either. But now I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes the body wants what the body wants. Unfortunately. And I'm gonna tell you this. It's okay if you make that mistake. Just don't make it twice. Don't make it 3 times. Don't make it 4 times. Just learn from your mistake and stop. Don't do it again. But that was all for today. I hope you all enjoy this Q&A. And if you have any other questions and concerns and you would like to hear my perspective on it, send us a message. We would love to hear about it. We would love to help you out. Let's talk about it. Till next time.